Now let's stay with the party Congress. There's a lot more to unpack. Clearly, the PLA is a sideshow at the party Congress. The spotlight, in fact, is naturally on Xi Jinping. This party Congress is all about him. This week, President Xi looks set to pull off yet another power grab. He'll be reconfirmed as president for a historic third term, a move that effectively puts him in history books as China's president for life. The vote is honestly just a formality at this point. Xi Jinping had secured a third term for himself 4 years back, when China got rid of the term limits for president. A vote had happened back then too, and here is what the final tally looked like. Close to 3,000 votes were cast in favor of removing the term limits. 2 votes were cast against the proposal. 3 voters abstained, while 1 vote was declared invalid. So essentially, 99.8% wanted the term limits abolished. There were more abstentions and invalid votes than the number of votes, or against votes rather. That tally essentially represents Xi Jinping's power. The third term is a foregone conclusion at this point. Xi will control all levers of power in China, at least for the foreseeable future. So how did he get in this position? How did Xi Jinping become China's most powerful leader since Mao? In the next few minutes, we'll tell you how Xi Jinping consolidated power. Since he took on the top job 10 years ago, Xi Jinping has rewired the Communist Party. He deployed 3 methods to centralize all the power in his hands. Number 1, he purged all rivals through an anti-corruption campaign. Number 2, he filled key positions with loyalists. And number 3, he broke decades-old rules to centralize power. Let me explain what I'm trying to say. Now first, the anti-corruption campaign. The Chinese president launched this right after he took office. It has been 10 years. And here's what the campaign has accomplished so far. More than 4.7 million people have been investigated by anti-corruption authorities. And more than 1.5 million officials have faced punishment. Among those who were punished were direct rivals of Xi Jinping. Listen in.
Xi Jinping has used the anti-corruption mechanism as a very potent weapon to intimidate and get rid of his political enemies. So at this time, after 10 years, I think most of his formidable political foes have already been brought down by the anti-corruption campaign. And he will continue to use this anti-corruption card to ensure his supremacy in the new leadership setup.
So who were these political enemies? The list is rather long, but experts often put emphasis on 2 names: Bo Xilai and Zhu Yongkang. They were considered to be Xi Jinping's main political rivals. They were charged for corruption and put behind bars. Now, once the rivals were out, Xi Jinping then replaced them with loyalists. That was his second move. Again, I have some numbers for you at this point. There are 31 provincial-level party secretaries in China. At least 24 of these are known political associates of Xi. They have either known the president's family, studied with him, worked under him, or worked with one of Xi Jinping's close allies. The Chinese president is planning to install more loyalists to top positions. The Politburo Standing Committee is the top decision-making body of the Communist Party. It is called Xi Jinping's Inner Circle. The Chinese president is planning a reshuffle now. Right now, there are 7 standing committee members. 2 are set to retire, and reports say their place will be taken up by more younger allies of Xi Jinping. Of course, Xi Jinping will retain his portfolios. He holds 3 key posts. He's the president of China. He serves as the general secretary of the Communist Party, the highest-ranking official in China. And he's the head of the Central Military Commission, the top decision-making body of China for the PLA. So by holding these top positions, Xi Jinping is breaking some unwritten rules of the Communist Party. 2 decades ago, China's then president, Jiang Zemin, established age limits. officials above the age of 68 should retire from office. There are more than 900 officials who have followed that rule since then, but Xi Jinping is unlikely to step aside due to his age. Age is hardly a factor for the Chinese president. His grip on power is absolute. Even when China is facing a serious economic crisis and the country is unable to shake off the pandemic. Look at this story now. It came out today. China was supposed to release its economic data this week. This includes the quarterly GDP numbers. Suddenly, Beijing has decided to delay their release. How much more time does the Chinese government need? Reports say Chinese officials have given no alternative dates just yet. Now, we could see more of the same in the coming days. A term extension for Xi Jinping would mean more of the same.
He's established himself as the sole penultimate leader of China. He's not beholden to the leaders around him. He is the core. He's not part of it. And as a result, we've seen some policy excesses. We've seen some challenges in China's economy. We've seen the zero COVID effort that's created mass social and economic disruption throughout China domestically. We've seen the ramping up of internal security, including censorship, policing, to further control and enhance the party's control over the everyday lives of Chinese citizens.
There are people in China who are now speaking out against these excesses. Last week, we witnessed an unprecedented protest against Xi Jinping. So will protests like these mean anything in the long run? Can they trigger a mass movement? Will Xi Jinping remain in complete control? Guess we will have to wait and see, and it's a story that we'll be tracking closely. WION World is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news updates on the move.